Hello again, everyone. Thanks for joining us once again for another great filmmaker interview. I'm Sophia Lucia Parola with Garden State Film Festival. This year, from March 21st through March 24th, you can check out the 22nd annual Garden State Film Festival. Yes, we have been here for 22 years. We're back where it originated in Asbury Park, New Jersey, and also we'll be in Cranford, New Jersey once again. You can check out over 200 films coming from 14 different countries in Asbury Park and Cranford across 8 venues. It's going to be a great year. We have some awesome films, so diverse. And one of the films you can check out is a short homegrown high school film called Notas de Amor. Here to talk with me about this film are the writers, cast members, director. We got basically the people who made the film in the room. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Congratulations on making a film, on getting accepted in the Garden State Film Festival, and thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me about it today.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure. So before we get into all the nitty-grittiness about this film, can you guys just introduce yourself and your titles in the film for our audience?
So, hi, my name is Julia Alexander, and I am the director of Notas de Amor.
Hi, my name is Adriana Zanalvo, and I am the main character's love interest in the film.
Hello, I'm James Kelly. I'm the main character in the film, as well as a bit of editing I did.
Lovely. So, Julia, as the director, do you mind telling everyone a little bit about Notas de Amor?
So, the idea had originated from thinking of one of my favorite TV shows, and the TV show itself is not innately romantic, but I was like, oh, what if this character was going on like a type of adventure or something in order to try and ask out this love interest? And then our film teacher was like, oh, that might be a bit too much for your first film. So I was like, okay. So then he's just going around trying to ask this girl out. And we kind of were like, all right, perfect. It's a simple first idea, and this will be our first film. And working on this film was so much fun because it was very simple to do, and we were able to do it all in class time and during the school day, and being able to work with these two were also just amazing. So that's just some of it.
Awesome. I mean, do you not want to share what the inspiration, like what the TV show that inspired the film was, or is that?
Oh, I will gladly talk about the TV show. The TV show is actually Over the Garden Wall. It was on Cartoon Network when I was a kid, but I didn't get to actually see it until later on. The first time I watched it was 2 years ago, and I am just intrigued with kind of like the mystery aspect of it, and with like the whole like alternate world, and that's what I wanted for this film. But this being our first film, we were like, oh, that's probably too much. And I really hope that in a next film or something, or later on, I will be able to actually grasp that feeling of the unknown in a film.
I love that. Very cool. And I think it's a good idea to start a little simple and go bigger and bigger. And you guys successfully made this short, and it made me laugh. I really enjoyed it. Adriana and James, how did you guys get involved? And tell me about joining this process.
So the whole thing, I have to say it was very chaotic. We were a very chaotic group. We kind of impulsively make decisions as we go. The environment that we filmed in was also filled with a lot of extra people, a lot of other students. Usually it was the end of we were filming at the end of the day, so a lot of people were really relaxing, trying to just get out of their classes. So we had a lot of extra people in the background. We didn't have much time to work, but we managed to scrap a little couple shots in. We made use of our time, and immediately we just clicked really well, which is very good for making a film. But it was just a lot of fun, I have to say. Just all of us just running around the media center where we were doing it, just trying to get as many shots in as we can.
Awesome. Adriana, how'd you feel about the process? How was it for you?
At first it was kind of I was honestly kind of nervous at first because I was afraid that I was gonna like mess everything up or interrupt James and Julia because they did a lot more work than I did, and I'm not happy about that. But I tried to help out the best I could. It was so much fun to work with them, and it was just a lot of fun to figure everything out as we went because we could come up with a bunch of different creative ideas for the plot, and we just kind of went along with it, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
I love that there's a cohesive, everyone seemed to have a lot of fun, which is great.
Yeah.
So am I getting this right that like Julia, the idea originated from you, but I saw on this that you kind of all wrote this, the story came from all of you. Is that because you guys went with the flow and just made
Yeah.
up things while you were filming?
Definitely.
100%. So I think what part of the reason why we work so well together is because James and I, we are in the band together, and then James is friends with Adriana, and I was friends with Adriana from another class. So we all like meshed together because we all knew each other, and we've always like spent time with each other. So I think that's what really helped the process come along too, and it really helps with like the filmmaking aspect of it, because I believe that if you are working with people that you know well and enjoy working with, then you can create such like beautiful things, and in film, in music, in any type of form of art.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't agree more with that. Preach. James, you're the star. We all see you guys in this film. You all did amazing, but James, as the star, so much of it is you, and there's no dialogue, so it's really all of your reactions and expressions. Have you ever done something like this before, and how was it for you?
Yeah, I've done like a couple acting things as like a kid. I always like to just pretend to be other people and like do a lot of voice impressions. I do like a lot of that stuff. But very like recently, during and before the filmmaking, I was in the play. I got a part, and I feel like that really helped. That was like my first major acting role I ever had. And that definitely helped with me. But I just know that I myself am just very animated and very expressive. So I just knew that that character doesn't have any lines would fit really well with just how I am.
Perfect. So do you think he was do you feel connected to your character? Would you react the same way if you were in this situation?
Yeah, maybe a little dulled down. Maybe it wouldn't be like so poppy, but in the head is exactly like in my head is exactly how we act, pretty much.
Love that. Adriana, did you choose to play this love interest, or were you forced to play this role?
Honestly, it was kind of a little bit of both because we did have two other people in our group that didn't contribute as much as we did, and neither of them wanted to be on camera. So, and I wanted to be on camera, so it was kind of like a wanted to, had to kind of deal.
And how'd you feel about playing this part, especially without like having a script?
It was a lot of fun. I've always been a fan of acting, and my drama teacher has told me that I've actually improved as time's gone on, and having this experience was really great. And it was really cool because I had to kind of come up with like actions on the fly, even though I was just sitting at a desk 90% of the time. But like I had to come up with a bunch of different stuff to do, especially like because I had to make sure that when James was walking up to me that I was focused on him and nothing else, because there were other people around and there were some people that were making a lot of racket. So I had to make sure that I focused on him and only him at the time.
Speaking of some challenges that you kind of had to work through, Julia, as you directed this, you produced this, what are some of the challenges that you overcame when making this film?
So as Adriana mentioned before, there were other people in the media center that we were working in, and there were a couple of sessions where we had to film during our lunch and free block. And during those blocks, there are a lot of people in the media center, in the shelves, just sitting at tables. And when we were making this film, we wanted it to have very few people in the background, so I thought we'd be getting like consistent shots. And we knew that once we hit like our filming deadline and we needed to like actually work in the class on editing, and when we needed shots during blocks 3 and 4, it got very constricting because we needed shots, but there were people in the background. It would look weird. It would look a little wacky. And what we tried to do was we filmed a lot of our like out in the open area during blocks 3 and 4, and then we got more of the nitty gritty. Like when James was in the shelves writing down the note. We tried to get that during blocks like 3 and 4 at the end, and it kind of all worked out in the end. There are also a couple of higher up shots that were kind of difficult, mostly because we were working on a tripod that was approximately like 4 feet tall, and we didn't really have access to a taller tripod, so we had to try and figure out ways to maneuver it to go higher.
Movie magic. Couldn't even tell it was as chaotic and so many people when watching the film too. So shout out to you guys for doing that. Who filmed this and who edited it?
Julia filmed it. Yeah, and then I edited a lot. But Julie, like with the filming, I have to say, like Julie made some sacrifices and made some risks. Like with those high angles, like so Julia had to like stand on a chair which was on like the railing, which was like so it was so dangerous. Like she could have fallen. It was on like the second floor, like right by the railing is like the floor below us. She was like standing on top of that, sitting on top of it to get that high angle shot. Like camera raised all the way above her head.
Oh my gosh.
It was.
Don't worry, Adriana was holding onto my feet. I wasn't gonna fall.
I was honestly so terrified that she was gonna fall backwards and I would have to like hold on to her as she's dangling over the side of the staircase.
I had faith in my core strength. Don't worry, guys.
Thank goodness you're here in one piece and it looks like nothing bad happened. But speaking of these things, I mean, hopefully that's not something, hopefully you guys will have a bigger tripod next time and you're not going to be as risky. What are some things you learned from this filmmaking process? I'd love to hear like one thing from each of you that you will take with you to your next project.
So one thing that I learned is that just because you designate a film session and like you say you're going to meet here and you guys do meet there, doesn't mean it's going to be fully productive. There were some times where we were feeling a bit more tired or a bit more slow one day, and we were just kind of like sitting there like feeling forced to get it done. And I remember one time I was just like, guys, we're not going to get anything productive done, and I know we need to get these shots, but if we're not going to get anything productive done, then I don't want to spend my time and waste it here. We are going to take a break, and then we will meet back another day and get these shots, and it will be a-okay. We might have to push the deadline a bit, but I don't want to get some mediocre shots because we weren't feeling 100%. And I try and bring that aspect to films, to hopefully to future films and to other aspects of my life.
True producer right there. Spoken like a true producer, someone who puts in extra time for unforeseen challenges and also just people not really being in the mood. So that's a good thing that you learned. Adriana, James, what'd you take away?
So I learned that even though you have like a plan, it doesn't always stick to the plan because there were some shots that we weren't like 100% sure of. Like the one scene where there's a friend that's like hyping up the main character, like, you got this, you got this. At first, we weren't exactly sure how we were going to pull that off because we would need someone to be not only in the media center at the time, someone who would be willing to do it. And coincidentally, we just happen to have a friend of James actually happened to be there. So we asked him and he said he would do it. And yeah, I basically just learned that sometimes it doesn't always go according to plan, but when it does, the outcome can be really good.
Yep. How about you, James?
All right. So this kind of goes back to before we even thought of the film. So before like that idea, we had, I had the idea of like, we're going to rent out a restaurant. We're going to go like a bunch of crazy lighting. We're going to get a bunch of like props, food that we can smack in this guy's face. It was like a whole thing. It was way too grand of an idea. First idea was way too big. It was impossible for us to do. What I've learned after doing this and doing some other films, trying these new other ideas that like they're a bit too out of reach. You need to start simple. Start with a simple idea and build off from there. Build off with time, build off with people, but just don't have everything in the very beginning. I do that with other writing things. I play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm the dungeon master. I start so simple and it just broadens out beautifully. That's like our new film is starting it simple. And that tells me it's just start simple and everything will happen from there.
Yes. So Congratulations on making this film again and getting accepted to Garden State Film Festival. How do we feel? This is New Jersey's first premiere festival. There's so many categories, one of them being student films. So many high school films will be there. It's so amazing seeing so many young artists share their voice and create these stories. How do you guys feel being a part of this festival?
Really excited. Since this is our first film like ever, it's really such an honor to be part of a film festival, and I'm very excited to see all these other films too.
I'm super excited for you guys to see the other films too. I saw some of them, got to interview some of them, and it's been so amazing and diverse, and they're all so different, but wonderful. So thank you for taking the time out to talk to me. Congratulations again. Let me tell everyone watching how you can see this film. It will be screening Sunday, March 24th. The film block starts at 9:15 a.m. at Berkeley Hotel. Get your tickets at www.gsff.org/tickets. Come see these amazing artists and come see other great films that are there as well. Thank you all again. Congratulations, and I'll see you at the festival.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
My
Stay
pleasure.
hydrated.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.